Don't tell me what you can't do, tell me what you can. That moment when you don't want to pick up the phone and you don't want to make the call, that's the time to push through.
Oh, wow.
There's more where this came from, my friend, because today we are talking about how to get motivated to make your sales calls.
People sell everything in there.
I'm Amy Walker, small business strategist and your biz bestie. And thank you for coming to the channel today. So I want to hear in the comments, you guys, what is the number one thing you do when you are avoiding making your sales calls? For me, it's totally emails.
Oh, it's my new beeper.
So, my friend, today we are going to give you the formula for getting motivated to make your sales calls. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about accountability buddies. We're going to talk about how tracking can actually make it less scary and less emotional. And we're going to talk about why it is so important that you implement a reward system for yourself. We all like rewards. I like rewards. You like rewards. Put them in place. Because at the end of the day, you and we want to be celebrating the wins, not talking about how are we going to get motivated to make the calls.
With 1 pound to go, come on! We're working, we're moving.
I know what you do. You get ready to make the phone calls and all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I need a vacuum. I'm going to just check my emails. This client probably needs something. You know what? The kids are busy right now. It's not a good time. It is the time to make your sales calls. And you know what? If you don't actually get in there and do it, it's never going to get any better. When I was a new entrepreneur, this is the game that I would play with myself. I'd wake up in the morning and I think, okay, these are the people I'm going to call. This is the time I'm going to call. And then we'd get to that time and I would think, you know what? They're probably busy getting kids ready for school. I'm just going to wait until this afternoon. And then it would be like, well, I'll catch them when they get back home. Probably doing homework with their kids, probably having dinner. It's probably too late to call. And the whole day had gone by. No, we have to cut the distractions and get focused on the thing that's going to make us money. And I had made so many phone calls in my mind, but never any actual phone calls. Can I just tell you something? This is going to be really life-changing. You don't get paid to make imaginary sales calls.
That's a lot of information.
You guys, that's mentally exhausting. It's spending an entire day thinking about doing the thing you're supposed to do and not doing it. It puts you out of integrity with yourself and it feels crappy, craptastic crappy. So what I want for you is I want you to wake up every morning with a positive and powerful mindset. I use declarations, vision boards, journaling. I have actually one of my favorite things, I have a poster of myself with all of it's not a well-drawn poster because I'm not an artist, but it's like and I have in there all of the positive words of who I am and who I'm becoming. And I have to fill my mind in the morning with positive thinking. Otherwise, I'm going to let those other voices take space.
Actually, I'm not buying, I'm selling.
Your head is going to be filled with chatter one way or another. You get to pick, is it the positive chatter or is it the negative chatter? My second tip, if you're struggling to stay motivated, is find an accountability buddy. When I was early on in business and I was really needing to make a lot of calls, today we've got a lot of leads that come into our business and I have a team, so I have help in this area. But when it was all me, I had an accountability buddy and we would set goals and we'd say, okay, how many calls are you making today? This is how many calls I'm making today.
I can remake you.
And we would have contests. I'm a little bit competitive. So it was like whoever gets the most calls this week has to buy the other person lunch or whatever that looks like for you. But that sense of having an accountability buddy, it's the same reason why we get accountability buddies for working out.
Just never seen your little stretchy pants before.
For dieting, because when nobody knows what we're doing, it's sometimes too easy to be out of integrity with ourselves, but we're not going to be out of integrity with someone else. So if you're a little bit competitive and you thrive with accountability, go get a buddy. I promise there's another entrepreneur that also is avoiding their sales calls and needs to do better. But don't call and chit chat with your accountability buddy as a way to avoid making sales calls because we all know that sort of stuff happens, right? Tracking, my friends. Number 3 is tracking. I used to avoid tracking in all areas because I didn't like what it would tell me. So I didn't want to stand on the scale because I didn't want to see the number. I didn't want to look at my bank account because I didn't want to see the number. I didn't want to look at my sales efforts because I didn't want to see the number. And I fought against this idea of tracking. I wanted to be in like the flow and I wanted to be feeling more free. But the reality is, when you start tracking any of those things, it takes the emotion out of it and it just puts you into a place of like, okay, this is what it is.
You don't make as much money as they do.
So when I track my calls, it helps me to avoid thoughts like, no one's answering their phone, or nobody is scheduling, or nobody wants to talk to me. Those thoughts inside of your mind are detrimental. And so if you can take those out of the equation and you can just get clarity on like, oh, look at this. I called 10 people. I talked to 2, 1 scheduled. 50% of the people that I'm talking to are scheduling. All of a sudden, it feels a lot better. And it puts you in a space where it takes some of that emotion and that fear out of it, and it just lets you play with the numbers.
And 7.
There are 7.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm highly motivated by rewards. Like, to this day, I'm 41 years old, and I'll be like, if I clean the bedroom, what do I get? You know, if I wash these dishes, what's my reward? And so when I was starting out and making a high volume of reach outs, because as a new business owner, sometimes that's what you got to do. Or maybe you're just in a season where you just completed like a big expo event, you were a vendor, and now you have a lot of leads and you're in a space where you got to make a lot of calls. I give myself a reward after every 10 calls. Is that crazy? But it works. So I will, after the first 10, I get to get a drink of water. After the second 10, I get to go walk around. After the third 10, I get to have a treat.
Let me try it.
After the fourth 10, I get to read a chapter out of my favorite book. After the 5-10, maybe I get to be done. And here's the thing that's so important with rewards. As you reward the effort, you will start to get the results, because we always want to reward ourselves only after we get the result. Like, well, when I've got the sales goal, then I'll give the reward.
I think everyone would feel better if we had some flan.
We're not primed to work that way. Like, we need little consistent rewards so that we can stay motivated. And guess what? If you had a boss, your boss would reward you and motivate you and incentivize you.
And give me 5 more.
You are the boss. And think about it. Are you a good boss or are you a bad boss? Because sometimes as a boss, I tell myself things like, you need to work harder. I don't care if you're tired. Keep pushing. And by the way, you should have worn 2 pairs of Spanx while you were speaking on stage because things looked a little flabby, right?
Every time I put on a little weight, I start questioning everything.
That's not a nice boss. We want to be the kind of boss that is going to be giving us rewards, giving us praise, helping us to want to do more instead of making us feel like crap because we're not doing more. So this is a great opportunity for you to step into that space and give yourself some rewards. Okay, celebration is last, you guys. I am actually good at rewards. I'm actually really bad at celebration. My husband will have to remind me, he's like, stop, Amy, pause. You just did something really good. How are you gonna celebrate?
You go out and celebrate, you know, someplace nice.
Because my mind is always on to that next thing. Like, by the time I've accomplished the goal, I've already started thinking about what that next goal is. And my favorite piece of business advice I've ever been given was, don't chase the horizons because they move. You need to actually stop and play at each destination. So as you do these things and you get yourself motivated to get on the phone consistently, you will start to get results. If you're not getting results, it's not you. It's just something else is broken in your sales or marketing funnel, and I'm happy to help you with that.
Let me tell you something. As a woman,
So if you haven't done it yet, I would love to give you the gift of my Sales and Marketing GPS. It is a simple survey that you take that's going to help us analyze where you're at, and then we will send you a customized, just for you improvement plan that you can use to really get clear on why it's not working with your sales and marketing. So make sure you go grab that below, because honestly, if you're doing the activity and you're not hitting the results, there's just something that needs to be tweaked, and it's amazing. Sometimes it's just like a couple of degrees. I have a client who last year did $12,000 in sales, and in the first 5 months of this year, she broke 6 figures.
Is there any chance that you're rounding up?
It wasn't because she was an unsuccessful person last year and a hugely different person this year. It was just because she had some things that were broken in her sales and marketing. So the first step is you got to talk to people so you can see what your results are. Then you get to work on improving the results.
It's just easier that way.
Okay, friend, the second thing that I want to give you is an opportunity to get really clear on your goals. So I've got another video. I mean, you're probably going to stay on YouTube anyway, right? When I get going, like, I can watch curly hair videos for days.
Little black curly hair.
So I want you to go head over and watch the goal setting video, because you need some clarity on your short-term goals so that you even know how many sales calls you're trying to make. All right, bestie, let's keep this party going and go check out the next video.